Nothing compares to the muscle vehicles of the early 1970s and 1960s. During this period, horsepower was king, and the big three manufacturers' main objective was to control the car market. Here are the rare Chevy muscle cars before 1990. Before we start off with number 10, it is the 1969 Nova Yenko SC 427. Despite his successful 1969 COPO 9561 Camaro and 1969 COPO 9562 Chevelle build projects, Don Yenko struggled to convince General Motors to approve his 1969 Yenko SC 427 Nova program due to concerns about safety and potential liability. Indeed, Yenko freely acknowledged that he could be stretching the boundaries with this combo, stating that these automobiles were barely legal at best. Certain insurance companies flatly refused to provide them with coverage. Given this, Yenko Sports Cars Inc. was left with little choice but to construct the Yenko SC 427 Novas inside the family's Pike Street new car business. In order to do this, Yenko removed the 396 375 horsepower L78 big block from the Nova Super Sport and, depending on availability, replaced it with the 427 warranty block or 11-to-1 compression crate engine. The number 840 cast iron SS 396 cylinder heads, number 163 aluminum intake manifold with 4 barrels, number 4346 GE Holley 4-barrel carburetor with 740 CFM, and number 499 AC Delco single-point ignition would next be reinstalled by Yenko Sports Cars personnel, and there are only 38 units of this car made. At number 9, we have the 1968 COPO Nova SS 396. All it takes to realize this is to let one's thoughts wander back to images of drag strip dominating Camaros packed with big block engines and fire-breathing Chevelle street vehicles. However, what set Chevy apart from rivals Ford and Chrysler more than anything else was their willingness to develop performance versions of their most mainstream or unconventional vehicles. Does anyone know anything about the 1970 El Camino SS 454? Aside from being one of the most uncommon vehicles the firm has ever made, this other improbable model was also the one on which Chevy chose to bestow its enchanted touch. Plus, it had a fascinating origin story and past because it was the outcome of the storied Central Office Production Order, COPO program. George Gibbs for drag racing competition, Chevrolet bought 50 of these COPO Novas. He desired a heavy-duty gearbox and powerful 396 engine. With 375 horsepower, this engine could get the Novas past the finish line in 14.5 seconds. Coming in at number 8, 1965 Chevelle Malibu SS 396 Z16. The 1964 Chevelle's introduction in 1963 marks the beginning of the 1965 Z16 tail. In response to Ford's popular mid-size Fairlane launch, GM developed the brand new A platform, and Chevy debuted the Chevelle on top of it. The sole new American automobile model introduced that year was the Chevelle, whose name was probably a combination of the terms Chevy and Gazelle. It had a 115-inch wheelbase and was built body-on-frame. Located between the smaller Chevy 2 and the bigger Impala in the Chevy range, the Chevelle filled the void. The automobile came in 4 different configurations: hardtop coupe, 4-door sedan, 4-door station wagon, and 2-door convertible. The type that became well known was the El Camino Utility Coupe, which was basically a spin-off. Base 300 series and upmarket Malibu range were 2 different Chevelle trim levels. Now at number 7, we have the 1967 Camaro Z28. December 1966 saw the introduction of the Z28 option designation for the 1967 model year Camaro. The idea of selling virtually race-ready Camaros from any Chevrolet dealer originated with Vince Piggins. Most customers were unaware of this option package since it was not mentioned in any sales materials. Power front disc brakes and close ratio Muncie 4-speed manual gearbox, posi traction was available, were needed for the Z28 option. It had an aluminum intake manifold, a 4-barrel vacuum secondary Holley carburetor with a 780 CFM capacity, a 3-inch crankshaft with a 4-inch bore, and a 302 cubic inch 4.9-liter small block V8 engine. The automobile had to be made available to the general public and have an engine that was smaller than 305 cubic inch 5.0 liters in order to compete in the Trans Am series. This engine's stated output was 290 horsepower, 216 kilowatts. This person is underappreciated. Chevrolet intended to maintain the horsepower rating below 1 horsepower per cubic inch for a number of reasons. such as racing classifications and insurance. The high-revving 302 really reached a peak of 360 horsepower, 268 kilowatts, with a single 4-barrel carb and 400 horsepower, 298 kilowatts, with the optional twin 4-barrel carbs at 6,800 to 7,000 RPM. At number 6, we have the 1970 Chevelle SS 454 LS6 convertible. With a reputation for being the king of the muscle cars, the 1970 Chevy Chevelle SS 454 LS6 is highly sought after among enthusiasts of the muscle car period. Just 4,475 Chevelles were equipped with the factory-installed LS6 upgrade as the SS 454 model. 3 Chevy Chevelle models, the Coupe Convertible and El Camino, were equipped with the potent LS6 engine from Chevrolet. The precise distribution of which each received a 454 cubic inch powerhouse in high horsepower was, as Hemmings described it, a known unknown. Though estimates differ, there is general agreement that there are only 20 to 25 drop tops left in the world. As such, an undamaged, identical numbers example is an incredible discovery and makes the 1970 Chevelle SS 454 LS6 convertible the rarest of all Chevelles. Here at number 5, we have the 1963 Impala RPO Z11. In 1963, GM's racing ban led to Chevrolet and Pontiacs being caught off guard. Despite spending on new cars and signing contracts for drivers, the ongoing development work that had been successful in 1962 would not be continued. The Impala RPO-coated Z11 was Chevrolet's top drag strip contender for the new season. It was a competitive vehicle, with competitors like Dave Strickler, Hayden Proffitt, Butch Leal, and Ronnie Sox always posing threats in the SS and FX divisions. The car was owned by Jack May and based in Powhatan, Virginia, and was seen as a threat during the season. At number 4, we have the 1969 COPO Camaro ZL1. Chevrolet dealer Fred Gibb and drag racer Dick Harrell came up with COPO 9560, popularly known as the Camaro ZL1. Though many believe the ZL1 engine could produce a staggering 550 horsepower with the right tweaking, its official horsepower rating was just 430. In order to be homologated by the NHRA, Fred Gibb had to order 50 units. For order dealers, 19 further samples were made. The COPO ZL1, the most exclusive, costliest, and rarest version of the original Camaro. Unrestored survivors are almost impossible to find, but restored ones are clearly rare. However, this Le Mans blue case provides evidence that they do exist. Yes, don't be fooled by the flawless trim and gleaming appearance. At number 3, we have the 1967 Chevelle SS 396 L78. Out of all the SS 396 models made in 1967, the L78 was the least common. They had the new 1967 Camaro, of course, and only offered it at the end of the year. The quantity of Chevelles with such engine choice was quite limited. The L78 didn't have to share the spotlight with any other automobile because there was no Camaro in 1966. You would have to assume that some of these owners of Chevelles in 1967 also purchased Camaros. It is only logical. And therefore the L78-67 Chevelle was reduced to an extremely rare choice. Coming at number 2, we have the 1969 Chevelle Yenko SC 427. Over the years, the Yenko Chevelle has not received as much attention as it should have. Yenko Chevrolet made a name for itself in 1967 and 1968 by creating and marketing the Yenko SC Camaros, which were equipped with the 427 high-performance engine transplants. There were no Yenko SC Chevelles made in the first 2 years. Among the Yenko supercars, the Camaro usually earned the greatest recognition because it was the most popular GM muscle car. Yenko did, however, also build additional supercars that were designed to appeal to non-Camaro aficionados. In order to satisfy the yearning of Chevelle's enthusiasts to own the ultimate Chevelle, the Yenko SC Chevelle was built. The 1969 production year was the only one for the Yenko SC Chevelle. Similar to the 1969 Yenko Camaros, it was ordered as a COPO 427 Chevelle from the manufacturer. Because there were only 99 Chevelles produced in 1969, the Chevelle is therefore rarer than the Camaro. And finally at number 1, we have the Chevrolet Lumina Z34. Exotics and sports automobiles tend to generate a greater buzz than average cars. However, there are some undiscovered gems out there that are just waiting for new owners, sometimes called sleepers. These unassuming trips are a terrific way to blend in until you find your true calling. We understand your thought process. In the 1990s, Luminas were a very frequent and regular sight on the road. This one, however, is unique. The Lumina Z34 model sported a 200 horsepower V6 LQ1 engine. Thanks for watching and kindly subscribe to the channel for more content like this.